All right, we are here, Mill City Nights. This is John Freddy from MinnesotaProWrestling.com, and we've got a special guest here tonight, the WrestlePalooza champion. He was one of 32 men worldwide selected by WWE to compete in the Cruiserweight Classic. The Sheik, Ariya Daivari.
Hey man, how's it going? You doing well?
Very good, very good. And Ariya, for people who don't know who you are, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Sheik Ariya Daivari. Like you said, I was just in the Cruiserweight Classic on the network, which is probably one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. But we are here tonight for First Wrestling, where I will be defending my WrestlePalooza championship against Tommy Dreamer. So I'm pretty excited to wrestle someone who I've been watching since I was a little kid.
Yeah, we were very excited as some old ECW fans growing up back then. Should be very exciting tonight, seeing you in the Cruiserweight Classic. We were very proud the Minnesota Pro Wrestling fans were behind you. And basically, the people want to know, we seen you in the Cruiserweight Classic. We seen you this past Wednesday on NXT. What is your current status with WWE?
That's a question that I'm getting a lot. What is my status with WWE? What's going to happen in the future? And as much as I would like to give you a definite answer, and this is by no means like a cop-out, I really don't know.
All right. We don't want to get you in trouble.
No,
either.
it's not about getting me in trouble. A funny story, a few of the cruiserweights, when they saw that commercial for Monday Night Raw, some of them, that was news to them. That's kind of how they found out too. So people think that they tell you every last little bit, every last little detail, but that's not necessarily the case. You know, they have a giant company they're running right now, so getting to each person and telling them exactly what their status is, I don't think is like super high on their priority list. So I think they have a lot of other things going on before they just let every guy know, like, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that, you know, maybe until you get in the company full time. But as of right now, I do not know. My knowledge goes just as far as yours does.
All right, sounds good. The internet people would have murdered me if I went to ask that.
No.
So.
There's obviously lots of speculation. It's fun to speculate things and kind of wonder who's going to show up on Monday Night Raw, who's going to show up on the network. So it's always pretty cool that they're opening up this opportunity to a lot of independent wrestlers.
Yeah, it was very cool for them to shine a light on the independent scene. Now, in your experience down there, what were some of the biggest things that you learned or picked up or added to your game?
Wrestling with intensity. You know, sometimes when we do a little bit of these smaller independent shows, I think some guys maybe get a little comfortable with what they're doing and they may not bring it as hard as they should. But that's one thing that does not lack in the WWE. Everyone hits hard, everyone hits fast, everyone works extremely hard, and I love it. I love having to step my game up rather than have to bring my game down to accommodate someone else. Everybody in that company, they're on another level, so when you get there, you got to reach to their level as well too if you want to succeed.
Beautiful, man. The people definitely recognize. Usually the internet's a pretty harsh place for wrestling critics. And got a lot of props out there. All right, we're going to do a mental test of strength.
Okay.
We're going to do 60-second challenge. I want to know if you can name 10 other wrestling sheiks in 60 seconds.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm going to go Iron Sheik, Sheik Adnan El Casey, the original Sheik, Sabu's uncle, Sheik Sean Daivari. God, there's probably so many more. I know there's a lot of Sheiks on the independent. I know there's like a Sheik Ali Akbar. Like, I see them all the time, but I don't know exactly one. I'll just say it's Sheik something.
All right.
But I think I got the main ones out there.
All right. Yeah, we just try to throw something out, have some fun.
I'm just gonna sit here and stumble over my words as I try to BS my way through thinking of every single Sheik out there.
All right. Yeah, we just try to have some fun with it. Some music that Ariya Daivari listens to.
Music. Honestly, listen to everything except for country music. That's not really my thing. I've never, maybe old country from like the 70s I can kind of get down with, but
the old outlaw country.
Yeah, but today's country not so much. But other rap, hip hop, rock and roll, techno, EDM, all that stuff. It really depends what I'm doing. If I'm in the gym, if I'm out socializing with friends, it really depends what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm trying to just unwind at home, listen to some slower music. So it just really depends what the mood is.
All right. I just figured I'd ask. The new atmosphere dropped.
Those type of questions you don't get asked very often. It's always just wrestling. So
yeah, I figured we let people know you better. What are some of your favorite aspects of pro wrestling?
For me, it's always been the entertainment part of it. That's what drew me in as a little kid, and that's what I always loved, the pageantry of it, the big elaborate characters, the over-the-top superhuman guys, superhuman women, the awesome entrances, the pyro, all that stuff that I think sucked you in as a kid. Like, that's the stuff I still appreciate. Don't get me wrong, as a professional wrestler, I appreciate really good wrestling too, but I gotta say the entertainment side of it, the pageantry side of it, the really strong emotion. I want to say it was when Daniel Bryan left the Wyatt family and they're in that cage match and he like took off the thing and like the crowd was going bananas. Like, I felt that in my stomach, and that wasn't about wrestling. That was something that I was like, oh, like this is a moment. And I feel like those moments when you create those, whether it's live or on TV or whatever it may be, when you're successful at doing something like that, that's what always feels good inside. Like, it's awesome to go have a great match and a hard-working match, but when you pull emotion out of people, out of something that I think they all think they already know, they know the insides of the business, when you still get them, you get that raw emotion, whether it's cheering or booing, nothing's a better feeling than that.
Beautiful, and I appreciate that. And what drives you to chase being a pro wrestler?
It's something I've wanted to do. You know, I started watching wrestling when I was 8 years old. I'm 27 now, and I just enjoyed it as a fan. Obviously, my brother got into it, and we always talked about being a tag team and stuff, and I know a lot of people assume that he became a wrestler, so I wanted to be a wrestler too, but we always talked about doing it together. But watching him be a wrestler was like the coolest thing in the world. Watching him make it to the WWE, like your own brother, it was like mind-blowing. And it was the most motivating thing I've ever seen in my life. I was literally sitting on the couch with him when he got the call and said they were going to offer him a deal. And I was like, this happens, you know. He's a kid from Plymouth, Minnesota who, you know, just a regular kid who was a wrestling fan and got into independent wrestling and became a pro wrestler for the WWE. Like, it blew my mind. And like, we couldn't believe it. We were jumping up and down, like hugging each other, like, can't believe this happened. And so like, me, my mom, my dad, my brother, all like, holy crap, like, if you're into wrestling and you take it seriously and you work hard, like, the cream does rise to the top. You know, you can make it. It's not just some sort of pipe dream. So that's why I always tell other young wrestlers, I go, you have to care. You have to put forth the effort. You have to go to the gym, make the drives, you know, wrestle as many people as you can, talk to as many veterans as you can, and try to just get better at it. So I always say my drive is to make it to the WWE. You know, I've had a taste of it now, and I just want more. So, like I said, I've had that drive in my stomach since I was about 8.
Yeah, and you've obviously been making the steps and putting the work in to get this far. And where can fans find you and follow you and keep up with the current stuff that you're doing?
So I will say I have a Facebook account. I do keep it a little bit more private, friends, families. There are some like Minnesota fans on there who I've just gotten to know over the past 10 years of working. But mainly my Twitter and Instagram. My Instagram is at Ariya Daivari, ARIYADAIVARI. And then my Twitter is at Ariya Daivari 411. So I post all updates, show posters, venues, all that kind of stuff on my Instagram and on my Twitter. I do it on my Facebook too, but like I said, that's a little bit more private for family and close friends. So follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram.
There you go. And any interesting fun or fan stories growing up in Wayzata?
Any fan stories? Like me as a fan?
Yeah.
I did get to go to the WrestleMania 22 after party because my brother, I was in Chicago.
All right.
My brother was employed at the time, so I got to go backstage. I actually went as a guest of the Laurinaitis because Johnny Laurinaitis, his niece, Jessica Laurinaitis, and James Laurinaitis went to my high school, and we kind of befriended them because when Road Warrior Animal had his like 2006 run, him and my brother used to travel together, so they kind of became buds. So I became buds with the kids. So I got to go to the WrestleMania 22 after party as their guest, and I got to talk to The Undertaker for quite some time. My brother introduced me, and it was really cool. And, you know, my brother pulled me aside. He goes, you know, don't act like a fan. Like, just, you know, even though I was a fan, I was there with my Batista shirt on. But I got what he was kind of saying. So I didn't bother anyone for pictures or anything like that as much as I wanted to. But, yeah, I would definitely try. And then my friend Jess Laurinaitis, her mom saw me talking to Undertaker, and she had a camera in her hand. She's like, "Hey, get close together." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." Like, pulled me in. Like, I still have that picture. It's on my Instagram. It's a really funny picture because I'm like 16. I'm like 120 pounds, like no facial hair, like backwards hat, just like grinning ear to ear. It's one of the coolest moments ever as a fan, I remember, and still as a wrestler today. It's kind of a cherished moment. So that was definitely one of the cooler ones because he's a legend of this business, and he's kind of someone who I thought, like, I don't think I'll ever cross paths with him or ever meet him in any sort of fashion, so I did. It was pretty cool, and just the end to see him it was at the after party, so everyone was just cool and normal. That was one fan experience I'll never forget. I know a lot of people go like Access and stuff, but like I gotta go to like after party and see everyone just being cool and chill after a big WrestleMania. Like, that was something that sticks with me to this day.
Yeah, that was one thing we kind of wondered, like, did you get to tag along his little brother and get to see some cool stuff?
Yeah, very little bit. But he did. He was very nice about it. He goes, whoever you want to meet, like, let's go. And like, we did the rounds. I got to meet, John Cena, Mark Henry, Undertaker, all those guys, Batista. Like, it was really cool. And like I said, to do it in like one setting and meet everybody all at once. After I literally just watched WrestleMania, like had the time of my life, like went back to the hotel and then went to this like after party. I was like, this is like the ultimate wrestling day for like any fan. So you get a little giddy just like talking about it still. I remember it was one of the coolest things. But again, being around all those guys, like it just reinstated in my head, because that was right around the time I was looking for wrestling schools that I was like, man, I want to be here. Like I want to be a part of this party and a part of WrestleMania. Like it was very, very, very cool experience, but it just made me like want it even more. And like when we talked about like I was gonna start training and stuff, and Undertaker was real cool about talking that kind of stuff. That was something that stuck with me for a very long time.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, that's one thing we're trying to do with the Minnesota Pro Wrestling site, is just share with people all the fun that we have being a fan and just being able to meet the wrestlers at the local.
There's a lot of great wrestling, there's a lot of great wrestling in Minnesota. I think a lot of people kind of maybe sleep on this state sometimes, but there's a lot of talented guys. Darren Corbin and Ryan Cruz and North Star Express, they're a great tag team. Obviously, Anarchist Eric Cannon's amazing. I'm here. There's a lot of other guys who may not have as much nationals exposure, but they're all really talented wrestlers. And I sometimes wish Minnesota got more exposure, but I think it's starting to happen. Eric Cannon has a really good thing going on here with First Wrestling, so it's pretty damn cool. So I think it's starting to happen a little bit that more talent is being discovered. But like even with this Cruiserweight Classic, talent's being discovered from all over the world, and they're getting on these pedestals where people can finally see them. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was very good for them to give back. I want to thank you, Ariya, stopping by, helping us with this interview. Very, very huge. Means a lot to us at MinnesotaProWrestling.com. Thank you.